Welcome to the Battle Buddy Podcast with Keith McKeever.
Hey, welcome back to the Battle Buddy Podcast. I've got a great guest with me today. We're going to talk about equine therapy. You may have heard of it. You may have not. Today, you're going to learn a little bit about equine therapy and the amazing power and benefit that can be behind veterans or anybody with trauma, hanging out with horses and riding horses. And, I'll just let JR kind of talk about that. Before we do, though, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button to follow this channel, follow the content, listen to the podcast. Also, make sure it'll be at the end, but make sure you go follow JR and his mission as well. So without further ado, JR, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate being here.
Yeah. So go ahead and just start us off and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So J.R. Smith, born and raised Midwest boy, moved to Florida in 1999. Started, been in a lot of different things, was in sales and marketing and all kinds of stuff from about the time I was 18. But I was always surrounded by veterans. So yeah, I'm a patriot myself, meaning we're the 99% that support the 1% of y'all that, raised your right hand, said, I'll go send me. And, I had a Vietnam father who had a World War II father who had post-depression parents. So I was told, basically F your feelings, go make a difference in the dash between when you're born and when you die. And that's what we're doing here, with the Veterans Ranch. We're making a difference in the dash of hopefully a lot of veterans' lives here across the country. Been married 22 years, got a great daughter that we just shipped off to college. So I'm an empty nester with nothing to do but go help veterans now. So, having a lot of fun.
Well, it must be an interesting feeling being an empty nester. I got a few years to go on that, but must be some conflicting emotions there.
Yeah, there's the freedom of, hey, I don't got a driver anywhere anymore. But then there's the, damn, she's 10 hours away.
Yeah, she's on her own,
Yeah.
Figure out life. We all know how many bumps and bruises we get in life, and the hard lessons you learn. And yeah, it's got to be the tough part as a parent. Let them kids learn it themselves.
Exactly.
So you did say something that's really neat, though. Between the dashes, in life, and I think a lot personally, about legacy and what we can all do with our lives. And we're all fortunate enough to even be alive, right? That's a miracle enough as it is, but we don't know when we're going to die, but you do have a time period in between there, and everybody can make an impact. And it doesn't have to be big. It can be small. Little small ones add up to big things. You never know how a smile can impact somebody's day. So anyway, enough beyond that. You are the co-founder of the Veterans Ranch. So I'm really curious, what exactly is the Veterans Ranch, and how did this idea come about?
Yeah, so it's me, my wife. Again, we're both patriots. My dad, who's the Vietnam veteran, he was in Vietnam 69, 70, and in the Navy until 73. The Veterans Ranch, quite honestly, was formed out of frustration. And what I mean by that is, we'd been looking for things to do to help more veterans because we got sick and tired of being sick and tired of deny till you die. Here's another pill. We've seen what my wife's father, who was Army 55 to 57, what he's gone through. I preface this by saying I believe there's a lot of great people within the VA system. It's just the hierarchy, the red tape bureaucracy that is a screwed up problem, and veterans don't get the help that they completely need and deserve from that organization. So we just thought, okay, how can we help? We didn't, there's a lot of great dog programs out there. We didn't want to be white noise and become another dog program because, now you could pay this guy to train your dog and this guy to get you a dog faster. And I have opinions about that. I'll keep to myself. But, horses are God's majestic animal. And if you watch Yellowstone, everybody thinks I got this line from there. But, we've been preaching this for decades. A horse can literally feel a gnat land on its back. So if it's that intuitive, what do you think it knows about you up to 30 feet away? Okay. Humans have an energy field of 5 to 7 feet. That's why somebody can damn near run right up on top of you before you know they're there. A horse's energy field is 15 to 30. So before you even realize it's paying attention to you, it's paying attention to you. So we just know that through working with horses, and horse people out there watching this right now, they're sitting there going like this. They get it. Okay. You can go groom your horse for an hour and feel better about your day. That's quite honestly how we start. Okay. Whoop, here we go. Camera. We put one of these in your hand. Okay. It's a grooming brush. Okay. These are provided to us by Decker Manufacturing in Keokuk, Iowa. DeckerManufacturing.com. Got to give them the plug. Check them out. They're a veteran-owned, family-owned business. If you need grooming supplies, check them out. But, you start going like this. You start getting that rhythmic motion, okay, of grooming that horse. Now you're grooming it, you're cleaning it, but what are you really doing? You're starting to build a connection. You're starting to build a bond of trust with an animal that's inherently born not to trust anybody. They're pack animals. They're prey animals. They need a leader. Horses want to know two things in life. Are you strong enough to take care of me? And are you going to hurt me? Now, with your own horse, you'll spend your whole life mastering that. Imagine one you just met 5 minutes ago. And you've got to start building that trust quick. You have to give yourself to the horse. You have to shut down. You got to stop thinking about thinking. Leave your problems at the gate. They'll be there when you get back. And hopefully less of them to pick up when you get back there. Okay, so that is the key to what we do. When you look at our brand, you see the horse's head in the circle. What that means and signifies is that through working with horses, we want you to lay down heavy coats of burden that you might be hanging on to and start walking off a new and improved version of yourself. However long that takes, however many times you need to come to our events and hang out with us, we're going to be here for you to help you out. And we're not conflict specific. Let me be really clear. If you're still kicking from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, all the way up to somebody who just, discharged today and is transitioning out into their new version of life outside of the military, the Veterans Ranch is here to help you get through anything you might be dealing with, or you just want to have fun and come out and play with a horse.
I'm sure you get some people to do that. Just love horses and just want to come out and be around them.
They've ridden their whole life and they just want to hang out with other veterans and help other veterans. And then they get to play with somebody else's horses at the same time.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the pillars that I've noticed over the years through this podcast and the stuff I saw on the internet before I started this podcast. The reason I did was lack of connection to the community, to the veteran community. And I think that's a huge thing. And it doesn't have to be, being an officer at the VFW or the American Legion. Great organizations. Mm-hmm. I'm just using them as an example. You don't have to volunteer and spend hours upon hours upon hours. It could just be an hour or two a week, hour or two a month. Just something to look forward to on the horizon of like, hey, I'm going to see John Doe and Jane Doe today out at the ranch, or I'm going to see him next week when I'm scheduled to go out there. And that just keeps that person going. It keeps a goal in mind. So I think that's a really, really powerful thing. Plus there's the, bonding with the horse and the dropping of your guard and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. So beyond the brushing, what else do you guys do? I was assuming trail rides and other care and stuff like that people pitch in with.
Yeah, some days it's just as simple as a trail ride. And I say just as simple. I was on one, last week, and it was up in the mountains in Tennessee, and it was absolutely beautiful, therapeutic as hell. I was on this, beautiful horse, about 18 hands. And by the way, for people that don't know what I just said, you measure a horse in hands by 1, 2, 3, so from their hoof to their withers, i.e. their shoulder, that's how you measure hands. That's how tall a horse is. I was hoping to get the one that was 26 hands. That's almost like riding a Clydesdale.
I was about to say, that sounds like a Clydesdale.
Yeah. So it was cool getting the one I got. He was a really good piece of work. So anyway, so it's sometimes as simple as that, but a lot of what we do is called liberty training. Okay. It is you, a horse, a round pen, and a training flag. No lead rope, no halter. You can't yank on the horse's head and make him kind of bend to your will and and all those kind of things. You have to build that connection with that horse. Short story. We had a man, we did an event back in January, and we had a man, he was working with this horse. And for everybody my age or older, they understand Silver from, the Lone Ranger. That's what this horse looked like. Gorgeous white mare. And so we got him working with this horse. And we have to keep reminding people to relax because, again, that horse feels everything you're feeling and projects it back at you. Well, after about 8 or 9 times of telling this young man who's probably in his late 20s to relax, that jaw just kept getting tighter and tighter. And he goes, I am relaxing. And he's trying to think like he was whispering. Well, that horse picked up on him, bing, right on the other side of the round pen. So he thought he was done for the day. We're like, nope, we ain't letting you out of the round pen. You're making this happen. Fast forward an hour and a half later, they're walking shoulder to shoulder around the round pen. He could stop, turn, go the other way. The horse would follow him. He'd start trotting and the horse would trot with him. We work you back to the center of the round pen and you wait. Horses learn in the release. They don't learn when you're training them. When you stop, they go, oh, I must have done something right. Let me learn what that is. When you see a horse licking their lips, okay, that's them learning, going, oh, okay, that's showing their acceptance to what you just taught them. 5 minutes later, this horse comes up, touches him right here in the chest. The man melted, literally broke down, crying like he's 2. We didn't know why, but we couldn't run into the round pen because we'd have destroyed what he just did with that horse for an hour and a half. We get him out. I'm 6'4" and 260, but we're man hugging. We're all over him because that's a breakthrough. We just had to learn what it was. Well, come to find out later at our campfire we did that night, he shared his story that he spent 9 months in the brig while he was in the Air Force for something he didn't do. Now, all the charges ended up getting dropped. They got the young lady, okay, so it was one of those kind of situations, who was accusing young men of, base to base to base of what she was accusing him of. But he still spent 9 months in the brig at 19 years old. Imagine what that would do to you. And it just held on to him. And he was trying to figure out how to start letting that go. When that horse touched him, it all just started melting off. So that's the power of what horses can do for people. Dogs are good too. Don't get me wrong. I've had a dog in my house since I was 8 years old. But, the power of horses is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to a dog, but you can't bring a horse around with you every day. So now, fun fact, because I'm in real estate, I know this, that there's only 2 types of animals you can have as a registered service animal, and that is a dog and a miniature horse.
Mm-hmm.
Never have I ever seen anybody dragging a miniature horse through Walmart, although that would be freaking hilarious.
I'd have to go over and talk to him. They're doing mini horses on planes for a while. I don't know how the hell they did that one, but here's still something that weighs a few hundred pounds, that you're trying to bring.
Yeah, I know. It's it's in a way
how they did that
just as much as a Great Dane or a Saint Bernard or some of those extremely large breed dogs. Like,
yeah.
I'll say at that point you can almost ride it. I mean,
yeah, ordinary. You're just going down the aisle with your luggage,
Yeah, yeah. That kind of brings up an interesting question. I wonder. I obviously would take the trail riding stuff out of there, but miniature horses would probably have the same temperament and same everything, just smaller package.
Could that work the same way? Some are a little feisty. Some are, like miniature horses, and then you get down into ponies, obviously. Some of them can be 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag, right? I mean, they're just rambunctious, energetic. But yes, the concept is still the same. So a lot of what we do doesn't necessarily depend on the size of the horse. It's just doing what you need to do. It is giving yourself to that horse and end up becoming better yourself and not realizing it. The horse is in charge. Always.
Oh, yeah, they're a little bit bigger.
Yeah, you're just there along for the ride,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do you go about, and I don't want to skip too forward into your network and stuff, but what makes an ideal horse for this?
Very gentle. When I say broke, I don't mean, they still want a spirit. Okay. I don't mind a little fire in a horse, but I don't need something that just came off the racetrack yesterday. Good trail horses, Missouri Foxtrotters. There's all different kinds of breeds that you can, have, but just good, gentle natured. You can't have a triggered horse with a triggered vet, right? I mean, that's like getting 2 positive sides of a magnet together. That's not gonna play.
Kind of like combining gasoline and fire. It's not a bright idea.
Yeah. And there are different programs out there that I'm a fan of, but it takes a lot more work, like working with rescued Mustangs. Okay. These are horses that have never been, they've been in the wild their whole life. Now you've got them in around. And I got to work with one time and it was amazing. But the amount of more effort you have to put into letting yourself go to work with something that you talk about, the alpha male in the group, that's a rescued Mustang.
That would probably be something more for somebody who could do maybe like a residency on the ranch for a while.
Yeah, because it takes a lot more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not just a one-day deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, very good, gentle natured horses. Like I said, not so broke that, they just have no spirit, but just good, gentle spirited horses.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't know if there was like, certain breeds or anything like that. Does it make sense to have them a little older horses?
Um,
A little bit more experienced,
Yeah, a
not
little bit more experience, but you're always working with them. You're always training them. Yeah, your 2 and 3 year olds, you don't necessarily, again, if you're working with them a lot and they're not a performance horse, absolutely, a 2 and 3 year old can be just as good as a 10-year-old
okay.
or older. But
I was
if
thinking of
you're
like energy, younger, more rambunctious, more energy, hadn't gotten
yeah,
older and calmed down like us adults, right?
well, and sometimes that's cool for some of the younger vets that got a lot of pent up energy and whatnot. The horse can take your energy and again, you're working with it. But we stay out of the younger end of the performance horse world. Your reiners, your rodeo horses. First of all, those are $250,000 plus horses. They're not. No, we're getting them on the retirement side, uh, of life,
Yeah, that makes
not
sense.
not on the youth side.
Yeah,
So
they're making money at that point. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, that's their job. And so but yeah, most of the ones we work with, they're 8, 10, 12. Worked one that was 20, and quite honestly had as much energy as the 8-year-old. So it just depends on how often you're working with them and everything, as to and if they have any health issues, if they have arthritis and whatnot. They're ground ponies, meaning it's all ground work. You're not getting on their back or anything like that. We
gotcha.
take care of them.
So it kind of leads to another question because I'm such an inquisitive person. So, with your horses, and let's just say you have a couple veterans come, knowing the temperament of the horses, do you have conversations with the veterans ahead of time and like strategically pick which horse you kind of pair them with?
Yeah, if we have the capability of doing that, because we utilize right now, when we started this, I just want to be real clear with everybody and brutally honest as we are. We work with other people's horses and facilities to do what we do at this point. We've been around for about 5 years. We're really close to getting our own piece of dirt, as we call it, and growing and expanding into that. But that being said, we absolutely do that. We want to kind of find out, we just want to get to know the veterans, first of all, just have a conversation, see if they want to talk about any issues, any PTS, anything, right? If they don't want to share, we don't push. Um, but then we'll kind of know in advance, especially if we've been to this particular place a bunch of times, the temperament of certain horses and who we can pair up with who. Like I said, the last time, the last event we did, they paired me up with the wild Mustang, who was on its forever home, but it was on its third home. So, this horse was 15 hands, about 1,200 pounds. And, here I am, 6'4", 260. I was like, yeah, I was hoping I got him. And they're like, okay, which alpha is given up first in this arena today, right? So we will try and match them up on temperament. But, the horse, there have been studies done for this, and I won't get too long-winded into this, but a horse will actually change its heartbeat to match the person it's working with. That's how intuitive horses are. So you can have a horse. This happens to my wife all the time. We'll go out, we'll work with some horses. I'll go, hey, now this one likes to lead. This one kind of nips at the horse in front of it a little bit, or be careful about this or about that. It won't do any of that with her. It'll do it to the next person. It won't do it with her. My wife's not a horse whisperer, but there's just something about her, and it's her calm demeanor that horse won't do that stuff that day. And they go, we can't believe it. He does that with everybody. It's like, well, doesn't do it with us. So, a horse could be a little high strung. I see it happen with kids in veteran families all the time. That horse will calm itself down. It will give itself to the kid, because here's a kid
Interesting.
here's a kid who's maybe 5 feet tall, right? 4 feet tall, young kid. Here's something that's 18 hands. You've got that immediate, oh man, I don't know about this, situation sometimes coming from the kid if they didn't deal with horses much their lives. So a horse will give itself to the kid so they can come together. I'm telling you, they're absolutely amazing animals. They really are. I've been, convinced from time to time that, there are reincarnated family members that just come back to take care of us, because it's just the way they give themselves to you as much as you give yourself to it. A horse here's a horse loyalty summed up really quick. You can ask a horse to run for you at top speed, and it will do so until its heart explodes and collapses and dies. That's loyalty. You don't see that outside.
Kind of like what they see in, well, you don't see it in new movies, but in the older movies when the horse is sweating and is it anyway, I watched a lot of Westerns as a kid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you see them sweating and they're foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, they just keep going and going and going.
They'll do it. They'll keep doing it. That's loyalty that servicemen and women don't see outside of the service. And most people in general don't see that kind of loyalty. You know, your own family will let you down. Your horse won't let you down. You'll let your horse down before your horse lets you down.
That is a darn good point. Yeah, and that's wow, I can really see the impact for some people, because some people's problems are family. You know, it may not be a lack of connection to the community. It may not be financial. It may not be so much medical or physical or mental health. It could just be lack of support from family. No connections there. Wow. That's interesting. I didn't know I was going to learn so much about horses. I mean, I knew we were going to have this conversation, but like my mind's kind of blown on some of that stuff. So do you see any particular, well, we kind of talked about advantages. Is there any limitations to equine therapy?
None that I found yet.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I knew there's a lot of advantages. It's one thing, we talked about this before we started recording. It's like, I'm pretty familiar with this, but doing this podcast, while I haven't had a conversation about equine therapy yet, I'm very well aware of it. You're in my Facebook group. You post stuff in there all the time. And I know other organizations that are doing stuff, but I know that it doesn't get the attention that service dogs do. And other organizations and stuff like that. It's kind of this up and coming thing. Some people don't really think about it, especially if you live in a city. It might definitely not be on your radar.
Yeah.
You know, if you're out in the country and you happen to know somebody who knows somebody, it might be a little bit more on your radar. But
well, that's the key. And you know, that's why we're here to change that. You know, we're not the only one out there doing equine therapy. There needs to be more out there, because the stats that have been out there for decades with autism, special needs kids and special needs adults are immense, what horses have done in that community. So it's shocking to me, honestly, that the veteran community still does not know as much about it. Like you said, unless you have someone that's gone through a program or one's close enough to you that you've at least heard of. Again, I'll restate, if you're not getting the results out of equine therapy, it's probably you. It's not the horse. And that's tough, right? If you've got an alpha personality and you're working with a horse, well, it's a horse, that damn horse. No, it ain't the horse. It's you, you know, and whatever that is, you got to figure out what it is you've got to let go of, that horse is sensing from you. Well, I'm fine, right? Well, anybody that's watched the movie Italian Job has seen the acronym for fine, you know, effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional, right? That's fine. So, you know, most people aren't fine. We say we're fine. Fine's not a feeling. Fine is just something you say to, you know, move on to the, you know, because you don't want to talk about it.
It's a political answer. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. You might be, but, you know, that's not a feeling. It's not an emotion. So there's something that horse is sensing out of you that you've got to let go of before that horse will give itself to you. It wants you to give yourself to it. So, you know, I mean, we had a guy, again, short story. We had a guy, him and his wife came out for a trail ride, and he was active duty Air Force. She was medically retired Air Force. She'd ridden dressage for like 20 years. So she was in her element. She was having a great time. You know, and all of a sudden she comes over, because we're pairing people up. Okay. And again, making sure they understand that this is not completely your steering wheel. Your feet are, you know, work as much as your hands, and we get them comfortable on the horses. Well, we paired this guy up. Again, we always bring out a big boy horse for guys my size, but we brought out a Belgian. Okay. Now, for everybody that doesn't know what a Belgian is, everybody's seen a Budweiser Clydesdale on TV. Take a Clydesdale, shrink it down just a little bit, and there's a Belgian. Okay. This thing was about 20 hands. I'm looking at Withers. Standing on the ground, I'm looking at Withers at eye level. This dude was 5'5" with boots on. Okay. He's looking at ribs. So, right. So
damn near walk under it.
Yeah. Y'all see where this is going. She comes over, Jerry, you need to help me. He's freaking out. He's cursing me out. He's mad. He wants to go home. He's upset. I'm like, no, he's scared. You don't know how to admit it. Now, I will never talk to somebody like I wear the uniform. I will not throw that level of disrespect on y'all. But I always have veterans with me. So I brought this Marine with me who I guess loves to make fun of airmen, and the ribbing between branches,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
We make it pretty easy as an Air Force
yeah.
vet. I must admit, we make it pretty easy.
So I'm telling him what's going on. He starts laughing. I'm like, oh shit, what's he gonna do? And I'm like, you got this? He's like, oh, I got this. What he did in 2 minutes blew my mind. He almost talked to him like a drill instructor. Okay. And for the podcast sake of anybody watching, I'll clean up what he said. He's like, what the F's wrong with you, Airman? You a wuss? You're going to go out to Okinawa and you can't get up on a horse? What the F's wrong with you? Uniform to uniform, he could break him down. But then we started laughing real quick because, we're not trying to make the situation worse. And we just said, seriously, dude, you were fine, quote, fine, 10 minutes ago. What's wrong? And he said, guys, I'm from the Bronx. That's all he had to say. We're done. We're all cracking up and laughing. He goes, look, I never saw the mounted patrol in Central Park. Dogs running through the neighborhood were strays. And you want me to get up on this monstrosity? Long story short, we get him on it, get him comfortable with it, made sure experienced riders were in front and behind him. He not only went on the first ride, he got off, walking a little funny. So, of course, we were making fun of him. And he got some drinks. We get like Powerade and water and stuff like that. He said, can I go out on the second ride? Dude, we all lost it. His wife was in tears because he went for an hour earlier cursing her out to wanting to go on the second ride. We're like, fucking A, yeah, you can go out on the second ride. And somebody actually gave up their spot so he could go out on the second ride. He comes back. While he's gone, we asked the owner for a bag of frozen peas. So he comes back. We get him off the horse. We chuck him the bag of frozen peas. He's like, F you guys, but thanks. We're like, hey, you want to go on the third ride? No.
No, fine, right?
There wasn't a third ride for the day.
I don't think my rear end can handle that one. No.
Yeah, but he left there that day overcoming a fear he didn't even know was a fear. Him and his wife were closer now because he would never explain to her why he didn't want to go to horse stuff with her. So now he was a little more in tune with why she loved him so much. And he was about to deploy back out. So he could go out to Okinawa with his chest puffed out a little higher going, you ain't going to believe the shit I did. And so that's, again, the power of the horse. It's the good Lord and the horse. Okay. It is not us. The good Lord said, go do this. And that's what we're doing. So it's a good Lord and the horse coming together to heal in vets one at a time. And he happened to be active duty, but I guarantee you when he gets out, he's calling us.
That's pretty cool that somebody gave up their seat. They must have recognized what was going on and realized, hey, this guy just had a breakthrough. We can't put the brakes on now.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Push forward, full on forward.
Yeah, the young man that spent an hour and a half in the round pen, 3 people gave up their slots so he could do what he needed to do. And we see it all the time, again, y'all went, y'all are 1%. Said, I'll go, send me. I tell people, I try and educate civilians on this all the time. It's like, y'all got to understand something. Somebody could be a cook for 30 years in the Army, slinging 3-4 meals a day. Everybody in the service is a rifleman. Now, I know that's a Marine Corps thing, but it's true. Somebody may have to grab their rifle and give their last full measure of devotion for their country. Think about that. You're a cook, but you may have to grab a rifle and maybe end up in a box. That takes something to go do that. So, when y'all get together, I love it. It gives me goosebumps talking about it because the camaraderie of it doesn't matter what your rank is anymore. It doesn't matter what branch service you're in. Sure, you have fun and rib each other. I hear them all the time, chair force, everybody in the Navy's gay, crayon eaters, I hear them all, right? And I love watching that. I don't participate because, the minute it's kind of like family can make fun of family, but if an outsider makes fun of family, now you got all of us coming at you.
Yeah. It'd be like a broken record if you chimed in with something. It'd be like, what did you say?
So it's kind of like, everybody like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
I truly do. Hopefully everybody out here today can see my passion through this as to why we love doing what we do and helping everybody we can. Because veterans aren't broken. If you hear somebody out there say that term, bitch slap them. Maybe not literally, but figuratively, because, y'all have just walked through some things in life that you now have to adjust how you live life. You're not broken. So I hate that term, but
Good point. We just experience things differently.
yeah,
Most
exactly.
people go in between 18 and let's say 18 and 24, just the basic training experience. The idea is to break you down and build you back up so that you can be the best airman, Marine, sailor, soldier, etc.
Exactly.
Like, just that process breaks you down and builds you up, and it gives you skills, it gives you insight, knowledge, all these different things that none of the civilian counterparts of your peer age group even get.
Yeah.
They just don't, and then you go on to your, whether, to go do your job, whether you're guard, reserve, active duty, whatever. But, you have these experiences that nobody else has. And you're right. We're not broken. We're just wired differently,
Mm-hmm.
and we just have
Yeah.
to adapt to it. And sometimes it sucks, like one that still gets me. And I'm not exactly 15 minutes early or you're late all the time, but I do try to be, a good 5 minutes early to different things. And when people walk in late, it bugs the heck out of me. I hate being late. And if I'm running a minute late, it bugs me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's unavoidable. In my line of business, I might get a phone call or something. It might be a couple of minutes late. And most people don't really care. You message them, hey, I'm running 2-3 minutes late. Okay, no problem.
Yeah. But it matters to
it's
you.
not a habit, but it matters. Oh,
Yeah.
15 it burns deep in me.
It's on time. Yeah. 15 minutes ahead's on time. On time's late.
Yep.
I'm the same way.
Yep. And I've been out for 12 years, so it's like I said, it's not as bad. I don't show up 15 minutes early to everything, but somewhere about 5 minutes early.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be there early. But yeah, that's just one example, and I'm sure that's totally relatable to a lot of the vets listening.
Well, again, a veteran father who had and a veteran grandfather, and so that's how it was. Plus, my uniform was Boy Scouts. Okay, I'm an Eagle Scout, so all that. The Boy Scouts transcended from the Army basically.
There's a lot of crossover there.
Yeah, it was ROTC before they had ROTC basically. Back in the day when it started. So there was a lot of those things that were taught to me at a young age on that level that I still transcend in through today, and to be prepared and and all that kind of stuff. So it's there's a lot of things. That's where I have some understanding of that your side of the world.
I never really thought about that, but there is a lot of tie-in. A lot of the skills, being in nature, shooting, camping, some of those things. It kind of loosely, but
the knot tying skills, and
but just uniform standards and respect for authority and teamwork and stuff like that. Those are very important skills. So
absolutely.
But so back to what you're doing and what you founded. So you've got a little network. Kind of view it in my mind as a map and little dots all over the place, little ranches or people who own some horses. But go ahead and tell us a little bit about how you're organized there, so people can kind of have an idea.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are headquartered in Florida. We are registered to do business in Texas, but we are looking to expand nationwide. And how we're doing that is we launched an affiliate ranch program. Okay. What that means is when we started this in 2017, there were 30,000 charities that dealt with veterans, and there's now 50,000 plus, not counting ones that will get approved today. Folks out there thinking about starting your own nonprofit, God bless you if you got the heart and want to do it. But understand the C in 501c3 stands for corporation. I'm putting in 80, 90 hour weeks to, get done what we're getting done. So here's the opportunity. If you are a veteran and you have land and you have horses, okay, it could be 5-10 acres and 5 horses. It doesn't have to be, the 4 6s in North Texas. Okay. It doesn't have to be Yellowstone. You can come under our umbrella and be the Veterans Ranch in your city. So you get the tax benefits, you get the marketing support, the advertising support, the relationships we've built and continue to build. I've got 2 relationships in the wings right now I can't announce yet. But let me tell you, if I told you the initials of who they are, everybody watching this today would know who they are. And so you get the benefits of those things, and it's about serving more veterans. When we get our piece of dirt, it's going to be about 20 horses on a 25-day work month. And that only allows us to serve 5,000 veterans, where there are 450,000 veterans in a 10-county area of where I sit. Imagine today how many veterans we could serve, and veterans serving other veterans, by having the Veterans Ranch Sea to Shining Sea. And we'll put them in Honolulu too. I don't care. Somebody's got horses and land out there too. So
hey, that'd be a nice place for a trail ride.
Right? You ain't kidding. I would love that. So reach out to us. Again, if you are a veteran with land and horses and you have always been looking for a way to give back, but didn't necessarily know how or didn't want to start your own nonprofit or how to start your own nonprofit, we're making it simple and easy for you. And you can reach out to us today and we can explain how to do it.
Okay, awesome. So outside of that, do you have, what kind of needs do you guys have as an organization? Obviously, there's always funding. That's a big one, but volunteers,
Absolutely.
anything else that you guys need?
Yeah, and honestly, we need, of course, the funding. Sure, a non-prey here. The diesel in the blood drive vans you see doesn't run on peaches, roses, and fluffy bunnies, right? It runs on cash. We ask people to go to our website and give what you can. Look, we know times are tough for people out there. I got an F-350 with a 25-gallon diesel tank. Okay, 2 years ago I was paying $65 to fill it up. At its highest, I was paying $1.25. I understand the pinch out there. But here's the one thing I will share with the American public out there. Fast food joints, liquor stores, restaurants, they may be hurting a little bit, but they're not going out of business. What does that mean? It means people are still buying cases of Busch Light. They're still buying double quarter cheese and pizzas and everything else. We ask people to go to theveteransranch.org, click the donate button and pledge $22 a month. In memory of the minimum 22 a day we're losing to veteran suicide. Folks, the real number is 35 a day. Think about that. More than 1 an hour today we are losing that we shouldn't have to. Can we save them all? No. But damn if we're not going to die trying. Okay, so 22 a month, it's $264 a year. It is less than one trip for you and your family to a fast food joint a month. So don't go to the Arches. Don't go to the one, because I don't want to say names, right? Don't go to the red pigtail hair. Don't go to the pizza boxes. Once a month. That's it. That's all we're asking for. And we're asking people to help spread our message. If you care about veterans, if you care about animals, hopefully you care about both. Help us help them. Join the team. It doesn't take much. We always talk about, you got a lot doing a little. Okay, you're talking 73 cents a day. And I know y'all see the commercials every night of all the big nonprofit organizations out there, and it's called Reduced to the Ridiculous. They break it all down. But folks, that's what it really comes down to. 73 cents a day donated today can save a veteran's life tomorrow. If that matters, veteransranch.org, be our megaphone. Help us shout that message out there and become part of the team yourself.
There's no doubt that it can save some lives. You never know when it's going to hit that person. And I'm sure without a doubt, you've probably saved one or two at least.
Well, we sure as hell hope we have. I mean, right now we are running a 67% success rate of ones that have admitted they have some kind of PTS. You notice I dropped the D off there. It's not a damn disorder. The government calls it that so you can qualify for some money. You've walked through some things in life and you've got to learn how to, process that differently. But we're running a 67% success rate of ones that said our programs are helping. So we're proud as hell of that. Sure, we want 100%, but we just got to get everybody admitting they have some kind of PTS. Because let's face it, I'm a civilian. I've walked through some things in my life that crush most people, but I've never fired a shot in anger, never had a bullet whiz by my head, never lost a buddy in combat. So I understand there's a lot of more empathy that I can have than sympathy, but we're here to help. And we're here to help get you to that new place in life.
Yeah, I would agree. You say 67%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's 2/3. And for those that cannot have the strength to admit that they have a problem, and those that don't have the strength to admit that it helped, that's not bad given those two factors.
Yeah. So, it takes a lot to admit any of those things. And so we're very proud of that. Of course, we're always trying to get that number higher, but, for just a 5-year-old organization to have those kind of numbers, again, I'm not breaking my shoulder, but we're working hard every day to help y'all out there that wore the uniform. And again, no conflict specific. You got out yesterday, you got out 50 years ago. We're here to help.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt about it. 67% is better than, you know what? Zero. It's better than zero.
Exactly.
Even
Yep.
1% has a chance for an impact.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing
something's
anything,
better than
you're not
doing
doing
nothing.
anything.
Yep,
So
that's right.
absolutely. Well, JR, I've got it scrolling across the bottom for those that watch this, but I'll have it in the show notes too, all of your contact information, where they can contact you, the website, where they can donate, all those things. But once again, I appreciate you coming by here and sharing what you guys do.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for having us on today. Thank you for everybody out there that supports us, and our new supporters, our new team members, and our new family. Because when you come on board with us, you're on board with our mission, and you're now family.
Awesome. All right, there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Remember, you can go check out our website, battlebuddypodcast.net, for all kinds of resources and information. If you don't find something there that you think you should be there, send me a message. Let me know what you think I should add to the podcast website. And if you're struggling, remember the number is now 988. Press 1 for the National Suicide Hotline, or you can text 838-255.